books that I have read in 2025, and I'll be just doing like a little reading wrapped, I guess. I did film this video yesterday, but then the audio got cut off, and oh my gosh, that was actually so annoying. But you know what, I'm gonna start the new year on negative mindset. Is literally January 1st 2026, and I was just like this year I feel like I really picked up a lot of the books that I thought I was never gonna pick up, and a lot of the books which I've been telling myself that I was gonna pick up that I've never actually picked up because I've been too scared to. And honestly, I found that every book that I have been scared to pick up has actually been really good. So yeah, in January I read the first book that I read in January was The Christmas Tree Farm by Laurie Gilmore. This, you can't really go wrong with a Laurie Gilmore book, I don't think. It was a fun book, you know. It was very like warm and Christmassy, and yeah, I mean, kind of ironic how I read it in January when Christmas is already over. But you know what, I love this book. It was so cute. It was like, I just love how books, they're like a warm hug. They're not 5 stars, they're not like the best books that you'll ever read. It's not like immaculate writing, you know, it's no Shakespeare, but like, it's very good. The next book that I read, I actually do not have a physical copy of, but it was Betting on You by Lynn Painter. January, I actually read a lot of books in January, but they were all Lynn Painter books. So Betting on You is actually, I think, my favorite Lynn Painter book. And like, I loved it so much. Charlie Sampson, the man you are. I freaking love Betting on You. It reminded me of the movie when Harry met Sally. So I just thought it was just like such a replica of that movie, and I loved it so much. Okay, next book I read was The Do-Over by Lynn Painter. Also very good, but I think I would have been better to read it in February, obviously, because it is centered around like Valentine's Day and like the time loop. I didn't like it as much as Betting on You. Is it the best Lynn Painter book? No. Is it the worst though? She doesn't have any bad books, but like, sorry, I'm kind of like but yeah, I really like The Do-Over. Very cute, very inspiring, actually very inspiring for some reason, because I think it's just about how she was like taking all these risks and like stepping outside of her comfort zone. It just really inspired me when I finished reading it. So next book I read was Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. Of course, her most famous book. I loved it so much. Obviously like, I am such a huge rom-com fan. I love watching rom-coms. It's my favorite movie genre, and this book was just centered around rom-coms. I mean, like, it wasn't centered around rom-coms, like, that's not what I meant to say, but it had like those little like snippets from the rom-com in like every chapter, and it was just so cute, and I loved it so much. And then I watched the movie The Duff after reading Better Than Movies, and it just really reminded me of that for some reason. Like, next book is of course nothing like the movies, and to be honest, I don't really like this book too much. I don't really feel drawn to the characters. Maybe it's an unnecessary like sequel to the book, if I'm being honest, because it's like, why are you making them break up again? I just thought it was unnecessary. And finally, I do have a physical copy. I read Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross, and I got this book from Waterstones. I just impulsively stepped into Waterstones, spontaneously I spontaneously just stepped into Waterstones to pick this up, because I've been wanting to read this book since forever. I just think the colour is so pretty, but I honestly had no idea what it's about. But I was so drawn to this world, and I loved it so much, and if I could go back and read this book again, I freaking would, because it's so beautiful, it's so raw. There's like magical elements as they're like sending these letters throughout each other, and simultaneously, you know, war is happening, war is about to strike, and I just think it's so beautiful, and I love this book so much. I love it. Okay, moving on to February. These are all the books that I read in February. I'm actually so done. I'm so oh my gosh, I'm so done. Where did that book go?
We're just gonna pretend like TS did not happen.
But the first book that I read in, I swear all my books are like scattered now. First book that I read in February was Ruthless Vows, of course, finishing the duology. And yeah, I mean, one's a hardback, one's a paperback, but they did not have the paperback version of this book at the time, and maybe I should have gotten the hardbacks to match the hardback version of this paperback to match this. But you know what, freaking, like, I don't care. this is my first ever hardback. I love this book. I was more drawn to Divine Rivals, but I just think this, like, I think everyone used to read this duology. I believe Rebecca Ross had a recent book released. I really want to get that on my 2026 TBR. Like, I just want to read all of her books because her world is just so much cool, so beautiful. I love it so much. Into the same, like, kind of war historical fiction. Would you classify Divine Rivals as a historical fiction? I don't know, but The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. Of course, this is like the book that I've also been meaning to read, but it's kind of outside of what I would normally read because I'm a reader of, obviously, like, as you can see, like fantasy and a romantasy, of course, and like romance rom-com books, not historical fiction. Can't recall the last time I read a historical fiction, but this book was outstanding. It was so beautiful. I loved it so much. Might be one of the best books I've read in 2025, honestly. For those two sisters, wars occurring in France. This is, I believe, World War II. This is during World War II, and then two sisters lived completely different lives, and you kind of like take them, like, you kind of see how their lives change as the war happens, and it's just really, really nice. Really love it. Away from that genre, I read the Wild Eyes by Elsa Silva, starting my Rose Hill series journey, and I thought this was the first book, but then I actually found out that Wild Love is the first book, so I read this book without knowing that this is the second book in the series. But I really like this book, to be honest. The spice was like, oof, there was a lot of spice, but that's just obviously so good for you. So, like, of course, I read Wild Love after, which I for some reason did like Wild Eyes more, but now that I'm recalling, I just don't really remember why, because I really loved the aesthetic of this book, like the childhood friends to lovers trope, and how his daughter, I love his daughter so much, Cora, and there's something with her cause, and like she's like from the city, like she just swooped in from the city. I don't know, very cute, very cute. And I read a total of 4 books in February. In March, I have a list of the books that I read. I don't have a physical copy of them because I borrowed them from the library, or maybe I read them online. No, all these were from the library. Anyways, the Twin Crowns trilogy I read, so like Twin Crowns, Cursed Crowns, Burning Crowns. So good. Didn't expect to like it, but I honestly really liked it. It had me hooked. Yeah, I mean, it was an amazing fantasy series, to be honest. I loved the protagonists so much, and okay, then I read Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, my favorite romance author. I feel like I've been meaning to read Just for the Summer for a long time. I've been putting it off, or like maybe I just really haven't seen it anywhere, like in bookshops and libraries, and then I finally saw it in the library and I was like, okay, I'll get it. And then I really enjoyed it. It was very cute, it was very summery, but then also Abby Jimenez, like, she knows how to, like, she throws in like obviously like some dark mature topics in her books as well, but I just think her books are so beautiful. So we are starting April off with, who would have guessed, Fearless by Lauren Roberts. This book had just come out in April. I remember the day it had come out, I literally sprinted to town to get this book, and I just love it so much. It's so beautiful. They only had the hardcover at the time, and it does not match my other books, which are all paperbacks, you know, like the Paolo series. But you know what, I freaking love this book, and it's so beautiful, and this is like the prettiest book I own. I'm not gonna open it now, can't be bothered, but I just think it's such a beautiful ending. I'm so happy Kai Payton got that happy ending. I gave this book 5 stars, loved it. Then I read Fourth Wing, which I have been mentioning in my videos that I've been wanting to read for a long time. Like, I remember, like, I was filming a YouTube video where I went to take my piano exam, and then I said that I really wanted to read this book, and I have been wanting to read this book for literally the longest time. So picked it up, love this book. I devoured it. I literally remember sitting like right there in that spot and just reading for 3 hours straight, like just reading, and I honestly couldn't do this book down. Naturally, I had to get Iron Flame after. How many, like, what did I even get up to? I think I got like halfway through this book, and then I DNF'd it. So that's it for April. And this is the Great Alone by Kristen Hanna, following further into the Kristen Hanna universe. this book, I can say this is a book in 2025 that left me, that I think about daily, that's like engraved into me, that I think I literally can't go a day without not thinking about this book. It's just so dear to me, and I feel like because it's so emotional, like there's no words to describe this book. Like it has so many emotional roller coasters, and it has so many like heartbreaks, and I just can't. This is like single-handedly, I could say confidently, the best book I've read in 2025. So who knows, maybe because I've read one book in May, this has been like my favorite book ever. We follow a family, and we follow a girl who her dad spontaneously decides to move up to Alaska, and the community quickly welcomes them, but obviously Alaska's like kind of a hard place to live, so they have to like adapt to it. And the dad, he is kind of an aggressive person, but sorry, that's not relevant. Basically, she starts school, and then she meets this boy who teaches her all the differences of life, and then as they're living and as the seasons get colder, her dad becomes more aggressive, and then she has this boy to run to. Her life, she teaches him about new adventures and new perspectives, and you just follow this raw, bittersweet journey, and it's just, I freaking can't this book. In June, what did I read? In June, I read I started off, I read The Crimson Moth by Kristen Cicerelli, and loved it so much. I think the best fantasy book I've read is so like Bridgerton, like upper class. She's a witch and then he's a witch hunter, and Kristen Cicerelli really knows how to do like an enemies to lovers trope good. So I feel like most of the enemies to lovers books I read, they're not even like, they're like, yeah, enemies to lovers, but it's like they don't really have a cool reason to hate each other. But like, he was trained on these beliefs to hate witches, and then he tries to kill her repeatedly many times, and then he betrays his own kind and then falls in love with her, and it's just, I love it so much. 5 stars. I love Crimson Moth. I read The On Honeymooners by Kristen Lauren. It was cute. Like, they're basically, it's her sister's wedding. She's like the complete opposite of her sister. She's always getting unlucky, and it's her wedding, and then during the catering, like, you know, people eat their food and then they actually get like really sick after, and the bride and the groom end up getting sick. Everyone, like the wedding guests, they get sick, so the bride has 2 tickets to a honeymoon, and so her sister goes, and with her sworn enemy, and you just kind of follow that. Fun, cute, like, I don't know, it's not like, I don't think about it daily. Then I read The Strawberry Patch Pancake, the Strawberry Patch Pancake House by Laurie Gilmore. This book is just so pretty, and it's just so spring. I love it so much. It's just cute. It's cute. Maybe my favorite book in this series, actually. Anyways, then I read The Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. I read this book from the library, and then I ordered it off eBay, so it's kind of like sticky and yellow now, because I got this for like £2, but I think it is literally such a good fantasy book. It's so unlike anything I've ever read. It's like more darker, and there's like vampires, and there's like deadly trials, and you know, forbidden love, and like a vampire. She's a human, and she was adopted by a vampire, and then she lives in that world, and then everyone wants to kill her, and it's just, oh, so good. Okay, I read 3 books in July. The first book is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I liked it, but a lot of people didn't like it because it was making a lot of like Gen Z references about like Resand and TikTok, and how they were making like edits of, I don't know. It wasn't my favorite Abby Jimenez book. Honestly, it felt a little rushed, and it felt like the enemies to lovers wasn't really done well, because judging by the blurb, I thought they would be like sworn enemies to lovers, but like, obviously you can't really get that much in the romance book, maybe, but like, it just didn't do the enemies to lovers part that well, and I don't really like it that much. I think I gave it like 3 stars. But then I read The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, the following book in the duology of the Crowns of Nyaxa. I read this book, and very good. I loved it so much. So many plot twists, so many betrayals, so many brutality. Like, just, I want to inhale this book. And then I read Wild Side by Elsie Silva. This book had just came out like recently as well. I was contemplating getting this book because I was like, do I really want to read the rest of the series? But then I did read the rest of the series. And spoiler alert, this actually is my favorite book in the series. In August, I have one book that I have a physical copy of, because the other books I had gone to Lithuania for the summer and I don't really bring a lot of books with me. I had just finished all those books, but we're gonna do them order. So first I read The Rebel Witch, which is the following in the duology, of course, with Reen and Gideon. And yeah, I mean, it was really good. Really missed that duology. I might need to get the physical copy actually, but I need to save more money in 2025, so in 2026. Okay, next I read Powerful by Lauren Roberts. I think I read this in like one sitting. Very quick, very easy book. Then like I don't really feel that attached to Adina, so I don't really cry over the book because she's not like a character that I attach myself to. If we got like maybe a more of a backstory with like, obviously yeah, we did get a backstory, but like I don't know, if it was like Peyton's story then like maybe, but Adina, I don't really feel connected to her, so I didn't cry over it. It was fine. It was just like a quick read. And I read Watch Me, which was so freaking, it was so good. Oh please, it was so good. I literally could not, I just stayed up reading it and it was so good. And of course, if it's a Shutter Me universe, so like obviously it's gonna be good. And it's with Aaron's brother James, and I love it so much. It was kind of scary at some parts because of like the whole AI situation where like I forgot the name, but like yeah, it was kind of scary, kind of creeped me out. Then I read Caraval by Stephanie Garber. Again, a book I've been meaning to read for a long time. I just haven't picked it up. I don't know why. I really liked Once Upon a Broken Heart and I just thought it wouldn't meet, but then Jax actually did appear in this trilogy and I was like, oh wait, like the universes are kind of colliding. And people say to read Caraval first, but I read Once Upon a Broken Heart, which I don't even know. But yeah, I love it. It's so magical. You really don't know what to believe in this book. You really don't know who to trust, and I just think that's so like, it's so good. September, I read Legendary by Stephanie Garber. Of course, the second book in the trilogy. And like it was so good. Like I just love how you don't know who to trust, you don't know what to believe, and it kind of like plays with your mind, and I really love that. Very magical. Then I read Wildcard by Elsie Silva, of course, because this is the fourth and final book in the Rose Soul series that came out in September. Bought it, of course. Not my favorite book in the series, but I'm glad that we got to see more of the old man in this series. Actually, I don't even remember his name, but this book actually made me laugh out loud like so much. I love it so much. Then I read Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. Also very, very good book. I love it so much. Made me cry. In October, I just read the whole of the, like, this is the only series that I read, the Chestnut Spring series by Elsie Silva. I loved every book in the series, but I think my personal favorite is always, I think, gonna be Powerless, because I just think Jasper, the man you are, like, honestly, I freaking love Powerless so much. I had to check because I don't know if I forgot his name. And I really liked Reckless as well. I just think it was so cute. So I think Powerless and Reckless are my favorite ones, even though people like tend to like Heartless the best. But I think these two are my favorite. But I loved and adored every book in this series. In November, I read True Book. In November, I read The Prison Healer and The Blood Traitor. Again, I'm so happy. I literally just bought these books on Vinted, and like, what can I say? I love this series so much. I think Jaren might be my favorite book man. Like, he's just, oh, I can't. I love this series. I'm so happy that I picked it up because there's just so many plot twists and so many like love triangle. No, that's not really love triangles, but I really liked it. It has like a subplot for it. Yeah, and then I read 3 books in December. I meant to say that I read The Gilded Cage and The Prison Healer, and then I read The Blood Tree. Like, why the flip would I read the first book and then the third book? Like, I don't even know why I said that. Anyway, I read The Blood Traitor in December, finishing the series, ending the trilogy. Then I read Fake Skating by Lynn Painter, my first ever physical copy of Lynn Painter. Like, can you believe it, guys? But honestly, I love this book. It was so cute, it was so sweet, and I love Alex so much. I just love the whole Lynn Painter universe so much. This is a book that I have been telling myself I will never pick up. I picked up, I got it for Christmas, and then I finally gave in and I read it. I read it so quickly. Like, I believe I read this in like 3 days, and this is like an 800 page book, and I'm currently reading Keeping 13, and I just, yeah, I love the Boys of Tony universe so much right now. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. That's it for my 2025 reading wrapped, and yeah, bye.